Alrighty. Why is everybody working hard and life still feels more difficult? That shit feels tighter, like your chest feels tighter. Everything feels fucking stressful. People aren't lazy. I don't know about you, but I don't see people sitting around and doing nothing. I see a whole bunch of people doing what they're told, trying their hardest, showing up, taking care of their responsibilities, and somehow rent is still too high, but they're making record profits off of your rent. Groceries are too high, but they're making record profits off of your groceries. Insurance is too expensive. Utilities are too expensive. You're barely above water, but they're making record profits once again. And we all feel this too. Type me in the chat if you feel like you're working harder than ever and still falling farther behind. Because I think that's the problem. Most Americans are wondering, how can I work 40 hours a week and still not easily afford food and housing and healthcare? And we're thinking that we're doing something wrong. But in reality, corporations know that if we are broke, we can't push back against them. So the fact that 210 million Americans are broke doesn't mean that they're lazy, doesn't mean that they don't know how to budget. And it certainly isn't just a coincidence that if the majority of Americans are broke, that we can't push back against corporations. Shit, I think everybody would strike if they could, so corporations make sure we can't. I think everybody would boycott corporations if we could, so corporations made sure that we couldn't. How many of us feel like we work our ass off every single month, but you're never going to get ahead of next month's bills? That's how it feels. Life feels like walking in the mud, right? Put a me in the chat. Appreciate you, Vipera. Life feels like walking in the mud. I swear it's one of the most exhausting feelings in the world. And we don't recognize how our nervous systems are activated 24 hours a day because we're always fighting for survival. And I'll tell you what, the moment that we get a little bit of savings and that nervous system isn't activated all the time and we're not always looking for the problem, that's the issue. The majority of Americans don't have money. We're being told that you're the reason that, you made bad choices. That's why you don't have money. But then we're all confused because we're like, wait, we did exactly what the previous generation did. We worked hard. We tried to get ahead. And even though we all were told the same thing, who was told this? Work hard, keep your head down, and you'll get ahead. Yes or no? Were you told that? I was told that. Work hard, go to college, keep your head down, and you'll get ahead, right? But how many of us actually feel like that's the life that we got a chance at? That's what's so killer, is that we work so hard, we are told that we're doing everything right, and then the game is rigged. It's like a carnival game, right? That's the problem. And it's like we feel stressed all the time. We're working all the time and still scared. We are one flat tire away from financial ruin. That's why America feels so divided, because nobody has any security. We don't have any safety, right? You should not be one flat tire away from financial ruin. That's why medical debt is the number one reason for bankruptcy in America. So what we're talking about is how our economic situation is directly tied to our political one. If it takes you 1 year to build up 1 month's worth of savings, you're not really free. But you're told that you're free because you're in the land of the free, but you don't even have any freedom of choice for what doctor you go to, what you buy at the grocery store, what kind of car that you buy, because you don't have enough money to have freedom of choice, because you need fucking money to have freedom of choice. What corporations figured out was that everyone would strike if they could. So they made sure that the majority of people could not strike. Well, in order to strike, you have to have savings. Nobody feels comfortable telling their boss no unless you've got 3 months of savings, 4 months of savings. We literally call it fuck you money. We literally call it fuck you money. And nobody has F you money because all you need is 3 months worth of savings, right? That's what it is. And here's all that I can tell you is why our economic situation affects our political one is what would it look like if companies actually had to compete for you to shop there? What if you could actually, what if companies had to compete for you to shop there? Here's the other one. You probably do most of your general store shopping at Target and Walmart. You probably do close to 100% of your general store purchasing at Walmart and Target. Well, if you had a local general store, I bet you would shop 80%, 90% at that local general store. Walmart knows that. Target knows that. That's why they ran out the local general store. They operated at a loss for a month, for a year. They ran out James's general store, right? And there is now no longer any competition. So if there's no competition, wages stay the same. Prices stay high. Because what would it look like if a corporation actually had to compete for you to work there, right? Corporations, what would it look like if corporations actually had to compete for you to shop there, right? And that's how we know that we are not in a competitive market, because corporations don't have to compete for you to shop there. They say, fuck them. We're the only place in town. Where the hell else are they going to go, right? And that's the issue, is there's no local competition. It doesn't matter if you don't shop at Target or Walmart, right? That's all. It doesn't matter if you don't shop at Walmart or Target. It's that the majority of people are stuck. So that's great if you can't shop at Walmart or Target. This is about getting the majority of Americans to not have to depend on them, right? That's what it really is. No, Jack, you're just a silly fool who loves coming in here for some reason. You come in here so often. Let's see if you're following me. Oh, well, nope. But you come in all the time. You don't even know what it is, because you cannot be a communist and also want competition. Durr. So really, you just show how foolish you are, right? You just show how foolish you are. Oh, and then Jack reported us, everybody. He reported it, right? What a little douche. Wow. You little baby, Jack. Little baby. So, if you walk into a grocery store and you can't afford the majority of items, do you really have freedom of choice? Actually, how we feel economically is really how we feel. Because if you walk into a grocery store and you can't afford shit, do you feel free? Right? No. And what makes you feel more powerful? If you've got $100,000 in your bank account where you can afford food and housing and healthcare, or when you go to vote? So what we're really talking about is that if you are stuck economically, you can't do anything politically. That's all it really comes down to. Because if the people you are pushing against control your food and your housing and your health care, That's where I hate that, Chorno. You're such a liar. When I say, hey, what makes you feel more powerful? Being able to afford food or voting? And somebody goes, oh, voting. It's not that voting is not important. It's just that that is the biggest virtue signaling answer there could possibly be, because it's not like all voting is allocating and figuring out who gets access to resources, who gets that food, who gets that housing, who gets that health care. And if you've got 100 grand in your bank account, you've already got accesses to those resources, right? So you, Matt, now you're asking the questions that I want to go over. What we need to do is we need to form non-corporate options. The only reason that communities have such little power is because corporations control all the things that they need. So communities literally have to bend the knee to these corporations, because without them, we wouldn't have our food, we wouldn't have our housing, we wouldn't have our health care. That's what they want us to think, at least. Because what it actually is happening is that we're the ones that produce all the housing and the food and the health care, but the corporations control access to it. So what we need to do is figure out how to control those things on our own, and therefore we'll build back some leverage against the corporations. The way we do that is by forming small groups. I think one of the first things people try to do is they bite off more than they can chew. So people try to bite off more than they can chew. It feels like this giant problem that we have to overcome. So, but we don't start, because how do you compete with Walmart? How do you compete with a grocery store? That's biting off more than you can chew. What we're talking about is finding one item that we can reduce our dependence on the corporations. We are starting with eggs. So everybody asks, how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this? It's not by organizing more, it's not by protesting more. It's not by getting louder. It is only by forming alternatives to corporations. Because when communities can choose where they shop at, where they work at, where they eat at, then that freedom of choice in and of itself is power. But right now, we do not have the power to choose, because in most situations, not all of them, I know we'll have some people come in and say, I have this in my hometown. The point is so that 80% of people, 90% of people have easy access to local alternative options. Because if somebody needs to drive 30 minutes out of the way and spend 30% more money, that is a chore, not an alternative. So the way we actually build alternatives to corporations is, number one, we have to start small. The way that we start small is we don't try to take over. It's not about buying from the small farmers markets. Is we don't try to take over grocery stores in a place, right? What you try to do is get groups of people to reduce their dependence on corporations, one item at a time. The thing with farmers markets is there's still an enterprise that is fully there to make profit. Now, that is totally fine, but that leaves no extra room for what the community needs. So that's where we are introducing what we call stewards, where it's not just the farmers market, because there can be a farmers market that still is just trying to get rich and screw you over. We are talking about buying and selling and purchasing from people who actually care about their community, who are stewards first, who see people as neighbors first and customers second. So how do we start these? Well, we start with food buying groups. That's the easiest way to start, because everybody buys food all the time. And one of the foods that we buy most often is eggs. Eggs are easy. So we just start buying eggs from our local farmer instead of the grocery store. And then eventually we'll find 2 or 3 other products. that we're able to get locally instead of from the grocery store. And it's going to start small, but as soon as people see that, oh shit, I don't have to rely on corporations for my food, there's another way. Oh my God, I want to use that way instead. And if it's not in their area, they will build it because they saw that you built it in your area. And that's where what we are building is basically a council of nations, where individuals who are like, I want to do something, but I want it to matter. Where groups and organizers are like, we're already building, but how do we get more people in? We are building this community hub where anybody that wants to take action, anybody that is unhappy with the way things are going now, we can actually work together to change it. Because you know what I'm sick of? Is going to one protest or going to a No Kings protest on Saturday, and everybody that's at the No Kings protest on Saturday goes right back to supporting the very same system on Monday. The whole point of the No Kings protest should be so that we all stay connected and organized. Not so that on Monday we drop out of the system. No, it's so that on Monday we can start working together to figure out how on Tuesday we won't depend on the system quite as much, and how the following week we'll have reduced our dependence even more. Because essentially it is the people versus the corporations. That's all we've got right now. It is the employees versus the employers. All right? There ain't nothing more going on. And us as the employees are going against the ultra-rich employers. And the big problem is that our political opponents, they control all of our food. They control all of our housing. They control all of our health care. So Stray Cat, you are on the right line. But if the people that we are fighting against, if the people forcing us to bend that knee control our food, well, the moment we try to not bend the knee, they will say, we're going to take your food away. The moment we try to not bend the knee, they're going to say, we're going to take your medicine away. Insulin's gone. You can't visit my pharmacy anymore. You can't visit my grocery store anymore. So our political opponents control all of what we need to live: our food, our housing, our healthcare. So it's not that we need to take back 100% of our food and our housing and our healthcare. The good thing about these asshole corporations is they have very thin profit margins. Profit margins for grocery stores are like 6 to 8%. So we just need to take back 8% of our food and make it local, and then we will be able to push back. It's not about that. It will not happen again, because the people that were fighting there, they made their own food. Imagine if you are literally fighting a battle or whatever, and the other side that you're pushing back against, the other side that you're fighting in battle, are the people that control your food supply. What if those are the people that control your tourniquets and your bandages and your blood clotting medicine? So it is literally impossible to push back against someone or something that control the things that you need to live. So what we need to do is, no matter what action we're going to take against the billionaires, the way that we beat the billionaires is by controlling some of our own food supply, is by controlling some of our own housing, is controlling some of our own healthcare. Because when we control the things that we need to live, that's when communities have real power. And what it really comes down to is that how many people, what would happen if everyone had enough? That's what this really is. What would happen if everyone had enough? Because selfishly, I want to live in a world where people can innovate. I want to live in a world where people can take chances and start that new business or try to develop that new invention. That's the world I want to live in, where people can live up to their fullest potential. What's up, Ellen? Ask yourself, how does someone live up to their fullest potential? Is it by withholding food and withholding housing and making them fight for survival? What if every single time a baby was born that we charged them for oxygen, right? We charge them for oxygen. That's what it comes down to. We wouldn't charge them for oxygen. Oh, because you need oxygen to live, and oxygen is free, right? How is that we are able to see, okay, well, we don't charge people for oxygen, but we do for water, right? That's all it comes down to. Stray Cat, you're not getting what I'm saying, and that's really the whole point. The people that those coal miners were fighting against, they did not have like control over the food of the coal miners. Listen to what I said earlier. If at Blair Mountain, the coal miners, if the people they were fighting against had control of their tourniquets and their weapons and their food, there's nothing that the labor union or that the union could have done, right? That's all that really happens. So the Discord is where these real conversations are happening. Right now, obviously, we're just talking about it here. But if you want to actually be a part of this group and make a difference, come and join us in the Discord. Because this is the kind of shit that we talk about. Like, why do companies get away with treating all of us poorly? Think of the last corporate experience you had that was good, right? Normally, when we have a somewhat good corporate experience, we're like, oh my God, I got treated so good. But really, they're just treating us not like shit. Moonlit Revolt, we are not just alive. We are a group of people that are looking to build a parallel economy because we know that communities are the ones that bring the actual value anyway. Corporations just control access to the things that we create, and then corporations price us out of that. Why are your grocery prices high? Because some fucking executive wanted a higher bonus. Why are your utility prices high? Because some executive wanted a fucking bonus. Why are your housing prices high? The gas high? Why is anything expensive? It's not because it costs more. It's because the executive wanted their fucking bonus. And in this country, we put companies over communities. We put executive bonuses over families. And if you want to work to stop that shit, come and join us. We are a group of people that is forming small local groups. Because in those small local groups, you will know what needs to be done in your area. But those small local groups will be part of this larger national network where we all meet, we all work together, and we make sure that we are demanding change, not just asking for it. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not doing another mother effing protest where we get 10 million people out and nothing changes. I am so sick of that. That's because nothing changes because we all go home afterwards and we don't stay connected and organized. What we need to do to stay connected and organized is to form local groups. That's what we're already doing in our Discord. When you join the Discord, you sort yourselves by state. You find people in your area. Not only do you form local groups, we also have many national groups that you can come and be a part of. And it's so funny because all we're saying is America's not in its golden age anymore. And for people to get offended by that, Op Matters, we're looking at you. Instagram, let's put some, let's chat this little baby away. It's so funny because all we're saying is America's not as great as it once was. And people get so upset. David, not quite. I would say, yeah, slightly, but really politicians used to work for the people because the people finance their campaign. Now politicians work for the corporations, right? And those corporations are the ones that finance the politicians' campaign. So it used to be that if enough of us got loud, that if enough of us walked in the streets, politicians would listen because they were like, oh shit, I don't want to lose my job. Now politicians know that the majority of people, they just need to brainwash and manipulate and lie to, and then they're going to get their campaign funded by the corporations, and that's all that really they need. They don't care about people because we're not the ones that elect them, right? But this is what we're all feeling. Yes or no? We are all frustrated, right? We are all frustrated. Everybody is confused and angry and upset. And I think we all feel this, right? Like, I think that we just need to start taking action. I don't know what you mean, Matt, but I do love that scene. I know what scene that you mean. So here is what we are doing. These are the 4 steps that is the momentum loop that no matter what you choose to do or what you can do, they all support each other. That's what's so fucking awesome about this, is that if we actually want to create change, it's just not that hard. So we speak up first. You realize something is wrong, right? So that's what we're doing now. I think we all know something's wrong. It's just that the media lies to us about what it actually is. So once we realize something is wrong and we connect with other people who also believe something is wrong, the only thing we need to do is stay connected, right? That's it. So you speak up with the goal of connecting with other people. Boom. Hello, everybody. Come join the Discord if you haven't yet. Then it's even better if you're able to form these small local groups. So we have a national network. As soon as you come into our group, you separate by state. You can meet people in your state. And then we also have a national group. On top of that, we have organizations that we partner with. General Strike, Flare, Citizens Impeachment, where when you come into our Discord, if you're looking to do more, build mutual aid, apply pressure, whatever it may be, we can connect you with other groups as well. But really, the whole point of connecting groups is to build local options. That's all it's for. Local food, local businesses, like real alternatives that we can push back against corporations, right? Because corporations do not care about you. Corporations do not care about your community. Look at health insurance companies, right? Look at health insurance companies. They do not care whether you live or die. That's because they care more about their bonus than they care about your children, your family, your parents. That's it. Appreciate you, Loga. Appreciate you, my friend. That's where if like friends tell me if we want to get rid of that person, I enjoy the engagement sometimes, and the more upset they get, the more I know that they're not thinking about it. Paolo, this is what we're doing. So you call some farmers and some butchers in your area, right? You ask them, can you sell me half a cow and how much is it? You then get 10 or 15 other people. Can you find 10 people in your area? And you say, hey, y'all, I'm sick of buying my beef. I'm sick of buying meat from the grocery store. I actually found a local farmer that will sell it to us, right, for this much. Actually, if you spend $50, if we all put $50 in, we can get so much more food than we could buy without at the grocery store. And not only are you helping people get a better discount, more quality meat, you're screwing over the corporations. It's beautiful. I literally have like goosebumps. That's all this really is we are forming groups to make sure we've got more leverage, more power, right? Because that's all it really is that we stopped being parts of unions, right? Unions are what kept our productivity and pay about the same. Now we stopped negotiating as a team, so we are not able to get higher salaries. So what we need to start doing is figuring out how can we as customers and consumers not have to use corporations anymore. Well, thankfully, we are already the people that do the farming, that build the houses, that are the doctors, right? Oh no, Rachel Lynn, unions are like the best thing possible. That's where it's so funny that people are so quick to hate. I said, it used to be we were all parts of unions. That's when our productivity and pay were the same. We used to negotiate as a team. We just stopped negotiating as a team, and that's so much of what hurt our salaries. I basically just made a video about it. If you look, or it was on Instagram actually. So that's all. So if you're feeling this, we are getting together in the Discord. We are creating these local groups. The Discord sorts you by state. Then we can start forming local groups in our area. Start a beef buying group and go buy half a cow. The big one we have is start an egg buying group. And you can all go buy eggs from the farmer together. And then here's what it is. Say you get 20 people to go buy eggs from a farmer. You're buying 240 eggs per week. Maybe somebody in that group of 20 people says, wait, I could get some chickens too. If I get some chickens too, could I sell you a couple dozen eggs a week? And then you're now getting your eggs from the people in your community. Yeah, most of them are coming from the local farmer, but you're getting your eggs from the people in your community. Now, this is not left versus right. Have I even said either of the political parties? Have I said a politician's name or anything at all? Not at all, right? So why do people get so upset when I point this out? Because they've tied their identity to corporate America. It's really all it comes down to. They were told that they were so special because they were able to make it by. They were able to scrape by. But when I expose, hey, this is the reason that some people are able to get by and others can't, and most of it has to do with the system, people get angry. Because why does life feel like, why isn't it we can't work 40 hours a week and have a stable life? That's all that I want, is for people that work 40 hours a week to have a stable life. So Big Kev said something great. We are not customers. We are consumers. A brutal difference. We are consumers because there is no competition. The large corporations operated at a loss for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years to get rid of the local general store, grocery store, pharmacy, newspaper, doctor's office, hardware store. There's none of them anymore, right? And when there is no competition, companies don't have to compete. What would it look like if a company had to compete for you to shop there, right? What would it look like if a company had to compete for you to work there? Is that the economy that we're living in now? We are all consumers because we do not have a choice of where we shop. But if we all understand that, oh, communities have more power when communities have options, because when communities don't have options, we depend on corporations. If we depend on corporations for our food and our housing and our healthcare, that gives them enormous political power. Logue, that is a great way to put it, right? If you like what I'm saying, Elwa, right? There we go. All of y'all, join this. Watkins, Elwa, 333777, Voice of Indy. If you want to join with fellow people and actually try to fix this, come join the Discord. I'll be on it for a couple minutes when I'm done here to chat with anybody that has any other questions. Because what we're doing is we're forming local groups. Corey, why are we forming local groups? To try to map non-corporate alternatives. Here's where you can get food in your city without going to a corporation. Oh, here's where you can go to a doctor that'll just pay for you out of pocket without going to a corporation. And the more people know those things, the more that can go and shop there. But really, it's not only to map the non-corporate options, it's to figure out where we need to build more, right? We need to build more. So probably what you're saying, G-Roz, that maybe it's so big, the mountain we have to climb is so large that how do we do this? Well, that's where it's small bites at a time. It really isn't. We don't take over the whole grocery store. We start buying eggs from a local farmer. That's it. Big Kev, this is what's so funny to me. Have you heard about Amazon Web Services, AWS? We all use Amazon for everything. We all use Amazon for everything. They are 30% of the cloud. So we all use between Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, that's a 70% market share. So no matter what you're doing, you're using Amazon. And that's my point. Are people that say, whoa, but we keep using them. No, they've made a situation where we have to use them. That's the thing. You cannot fix this just by making choices on your own. You have to work with other people to make an option that is better than Amazon. The way we do that is we show them how Walmart and Amazon cost communities money. But the reason people use them right now is because we're dependent on them. That's why we need to start local small businesses that not compete with Amazon right away, but do one thing better. One thing better. We care more, right? We care more. See, Matt, I think it's the other way. I think that money is just resources. That's it. Money is just the ability to buy food and water and housing. That's it. That's all money is. Money is the ability to buy food and housing and healthcare. That's it. That's all money does. Money is resources. So yeah, until the group that is trying to change things takes back control over some of the resources, we will never change things against people that have all of the resources. That's where it's to me, it's not that difficult. Money is power. 230 million Americans, they have $50 trillion. 3 million Americans, they have $50 trillion. They have more because they have as much money as us. They have the same amount of power. It's not about better products. It's about caring more, because you're never going to offer better products. What you will offer is better customer service. And the way you're thinking is like products. Food isn't a product, right? It's like, oh, better food. A local farmer will give me better food for cheaper. So that's a lower price, higher quality than the corporation. Boom, right here. Boom. Local farmer. Local doctor would rather treat you, keep you healthy, because that's how you're not a consumer. When you go to a local business, you're a neighbor first and a consumer second. And that's what this is called, localism. Sorry, localism. Localism is all about connecting, building small options, and reducing dependence on corporations. Because right now, the only reason we don't have any political power is that we rely on corporations for all of our economic needs, for jobs, for food, for housing, for healthcare. We literally have to think of it We say it all the time. It's up versus down. It's us. It's the 99% of people versus the 1%, right? But right now, the 1% control all of our food and our housing and our healthcare. So anytime the 99% try to fix things, they take away access to our food and to our housing and to our healthcare, right? Does anybody feel actually free, or do we just feel like we're surviving? Or does it feel like you're walking in like a lava pit where you could step on one wrong rock and whoop? And that's what's so crazy, is that right now, money is what we need, right? Like money is resources. And that's the most important thing. Because if you control the resources, you control other people, right? So that's where it's our utilities are going up because the utility companies want to make millions of more in dollars. Our groceries are going up because some executive wanted to get richer. How does this actually help us? Well, it doesn't. But that's because the decisions aren't being made by you, by the people in your community. The big money, the big donors, the big corporations, they're the ones making the decisions that affect your everyday life. But because we don't recognize that our economic situation is tied to our political one, we don't know what to do about it. Because in my mind, everybody would strike if they could. Corporations know this. So they make sure that it takes 1 year to build up 1 month's worth of savings. Because if you don't have savings, you can't strike. But what we do is we blame all the 210, we blame the entire middle class for not having savings. And we go, oh, it must be your fault individually. And it's just a coincidence that 210 million people not having enough savings also gives corporations all the power. So that's where, no, we are not all broke because people got lazy, because people don't know how to budget. We are all broke because if we're broke, we can't strike against corporations. Corporations know this, but they flipped the script. Rather than all of us understanding, oh shit, Corey, if you're underpaid, if you can't strike, that's bad for all of us because we should all strike, right? Logue, that's a great way to put it. Sarah, right now, I would say until we control our food, we really can't strike. We are the ants in a bug's life. The ants always knew there was more of us than them. But it was only once the ants realized that the grasshoppers depend on them for food, right? That's what this is. RJ, you can come on up if you want. Otherwise, I muted you. Because if you're going to throw glass stones, come on up, right? What I really think, what RJ doesn't seem to understand is how do you get the most out of a human being? So what we're talking about is how corporations screw over communities, how working 40 hours a week still doesn't build up a stable life, and then how they blame you for that. Even though what really happens is that corporations do not care about us. They control access to our food and our housing and our healthcare. And we've set it up so that your grocery prices are going up, not because it costs them more, but because that executive wants their bonus. And they don't give two craps about you or your family or your children. Even worse, that health insurance executive, they don't want to save the life of you or your family or your parents because that health insurance executive, they don't give a shit whether you live or die. They just want to hit their bonus, right? But that's what a rigged system does. Shit, the system's not even rigged. It's working how it's intended so that we are all stuck. Y'all, I need you. If you are feeling this, hop into our Discord. Because just listening to me, I appreciate it. But we need to build local power. We need to build local power. And this next Saturday is one of the best ways we can build local power. We have flyers you can hand out. Start these local groups. Start these local groups. We'll tell you what to do, right? These local groups, we need to build non-corporate alternatives, right? Non-corporate alternatives, because all we're saying is that America's not in its golden age anymore. And if you're still sitting there pretending that America is fantastic, then I've got a bridge to sell you, right? Bo, we love the free market. What you aren't realizing is that corporations are the ones that own the politicians. Oh, it's government collusion. The government is controlled by corporations. Who pays for campaign financing? Who funds campaigns? Well, the corporations are beholden to the people that fund campaigns. We used to, right? But now we don't. Corporations do. That's what this really is. And if you are thinking this is about left or right, we feel bad for you. Because anybody that says the words Democrat or Republican, you are being manipulated. You think you're all smart coming in here saying, oh, look at them. They're a Democrat, they're a Republican, they're a communist, they're a capitalist. But really, you are playing into the hands of the people that have been manipulating you your whole life. Sedated by slogans. Oh, I love it. But Sarah, what we try to do, we don't get mad at the people that are brainwashed. No. All we ask is, who did the brainwashing? Swizz, we already have. We got 200,000 people taking action. Probably closer to 280,000 people that are a part of this and taking action. But you've been here for less than a minute, obviously a bot, and you get blocked. It's so funny, right? People are here to distract, derail, and divide. I don't know about you, but I am sick of this. Julia, come and join the Discord. Y'all, we've got to do something. I think everybody wants desperately to push back. We just don't know how. 3333777. Join us. Let's start a food buying group. Fuck those corporations. We can do this. We can do this. Lynn, I'm on here every day. All you need to do is find 15 people in your area that want to buy eggs from a local farmer. Then you call up the farmer and say, look, I want to buy 160 eggs a week. You know, that local farmer's market that buys from corporations and sells it off as local? I hate them. I want to buy from you instead. Julie, that's great. Most people can't. We want to make it so that everyone can buy from their neighbor. Michael, that is great. What we need to do is get these food buying groups so that we can buy, because really it's about buying bulk. Basically, we just need to put together bulk orders and buy bulk, because then we get a bulk discount. So that's all that corporations do, is they buy a shit ton of a product and get a bulk discount. All we're going to do is find 15, 20, 30 people that want to buy with us, and we are going to get a bulk discount. And we're going to do that all across America. And at the same time, we're going to start buying and reselling groups. We are going to start holding farmers markets and yard sales in the parking lots of grocery stores. Because what we want is real competition for corporations. Imagine if outside of every grocery store, there was a farmer's market. Imagine if all grocery stores had to compete for you to shop there. Prices would go down, quality would go up, salaries would go up, the customer service would, and all it takes is one little competition so that people can walk their ass out of the store. Why do you think Walmart and Target and Home Depot and every single corporate store have terrible customer service? Well, because the people up top know that you ain't walking your ass out, right? You aren't going to leave and go to a local general store because there is no general store. So imagine, though, if Walmart and Target had 1,000 people leave their stores, one single store each week, to go to Lynn's general store. Well, I think Walmart and Target would start offering a better shopping experience with lower prices, higher quality, and better customer service because they are pissed that 1,000 customers left to go shop at Lynn's general store. That's the power of corporations. That's what this is. So if you are feeling this, come and join the Discord. We've got thousands of people already there. We are ready to push back. Costco would be the option that we're talking about, though. The way that you beat Walmart and Target. So it's like, not that we hate corporations, we hate greedy asshole corporations. Costco is not one of them from everything that I've seen. Because no matter what it is, if we choose the better option, then we will vote with our dollar, right? And all I'm saying is in most cases, we can't vote with our dollar. Some cases we can. Costco, Aldi, great examples. But in those situations where we can't vote with our dollar, the people in those communities that don't have an option can't just wait for the corporations to come in and offer them something. We need to build it ourselves. And it's not that hard. There's a farmer in your county that is so goddamn sick of selling to corporations. There is a doctor in your county that is so goddamn sick of dealing with the insurance company. This is what we're talking about. And then there's hundreds of consumers that are sick of the insurance company. There's thousands of consumers that are sick of the grocery store experience. And what if you could just talk to them and say, hey, we're buying bulk from our local farmer. Appreciate it, Bo. We're buying bulk from our local farmer for eggs. Would you rather do that? Partially because we're going to get better quality. It's going to be a cheaper price. And not only that, we're screwing over these asshole grocery companies that keep raising our prices. Because the only reason our groceries are higher and more expensive is because the executive wants to hit their bonus, right? Until the executive wants to hit their bonus. Connor, you're not getting what we're doing. So taxes don't really fucking matter. Taxes are collected by the government. The government works for corporations. That's all this is. We've got to stop looking at the government as an independent entity. Everybody knows that politicians are middle management for the billionaires. Hey, politicians, fix something. Oh, billionaires, what should we do? That's how it goes every time. Hey, politicians, fix this. Well, let me check with the billionaires, right? Malachi, sorry. You can't do the TikTok browser. Click on the Discord. It'll come up, and you have to click open a new browser. It's the little thing up top. Sarah, I would love for you to join this. You are really hitting on the exact points that we talk about very often. So I'm going to call you all out here. Sarah, Julia, Mad, Lynn, Jira, come and join this. Tammy, I think I've seen you before. Yolanda, Bo, Peyton, come on, y'all. Let's form local groups. These local groups are going to find non-corporate alternatives. The non-corporate alternatives will give us reduced dependence on corporation. Reducing dependence on corporations is how we build back local power. Building back local power is how we get ourselves out of this mess. Because imagine, sorry, I'm going to get happy here. Imagine if every county in America controlled their own food supply. Then we could tell the corporations to go shove it. It doesn't even need to control your own food supply. What if every county in America had 3 months worth of food to feed all their residents? Would we be able to be bullied by corporations then? Or would we just say, hey, unless you fix this shit, we're just going to walk away? Unless you fix this shit, we're not going to participate in your system anymore. The ability to walk away is the most powerful action we can take. So corporations have made sure that we do not have the ability to walk away. How do we know this? Everyone would strike if they could. The fact that you can't isn't your fault. Corporations made sure of it. You can't even strike with your wallet. There's not many non-corporate options. You can't even boycott. Striking is almost impossible, and boycotting is just as hard. You can boycott, but you're going to end up paying 40% more and spending 6 extra hours just to boycott. And if it's that inconvenient, a majority of Americans aren't doing it. Why? Because we're already working 40 hours a week, right? We're already working 40 hours a week. Catherine, why don't you come on up? I seem to make you upset. We're already working 40 hours a week, and we're still barely scraping by. But then we got people like Catherine Skinner coming in here every single week, espousing hate and division. Ilaroma, what's up, my friend? So that's where I think we're all here. Ilaroma, if you haven't joined the Discord, would love to have you in there, man. That'd be great. Especially even if you want to drive people there, that would be awesome. Make purpose known. I think we had connected recently. Appreciate that. Loga, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your help on Instagram today. That is always nice to have some friendlies up in her, helping spread the message. But guys, I think we're all just sick of like the corporate system. Most of us were born into it. 1987 here. I feel like my parents were like, well, where'd all the corporate options, where'd all the local stores go? And my parents were pissed off of that, but then didn't actually ask why. I think my entire life I've hated corporations because there's just no reason to operate that way. There's no reason to just screw over your fellow man for money for no reason at all. Peyton, we meet every single Sunday. We meet every single Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I think the best way to do it, Peyton, is that we are literally wrapping working class language in the American flag. I think we need to show rural areas that if a company does not pay an employee enough for food and housing and healthcare, that the rest of us have to pick up the slack. We've got to end corporate welfare. Christofferson, it's so funny. You've been here for less than 2 minutes. You still don't get it. Come on up. Let's talk. Sweet, Peyton, appreciate it. But I think the way that you do it is you literally start building, where it's like, if you've seen, because I don't think that any of this should be done with left or right. I literally did this to be able to talk to my parents who are hardcore MAGA Trumpers. And so how can I have a conversation about politics where my parents don't think it's about politics? Oh, everybody hates corporations. And you don't even need to get into all the payment and the taxes and hey, this corporation, terrible customer service, terrible products. We're actually just going to buy from this local place instead. Boom. That's how you bring it up in a small rural town, right? So Julia, part of what I am most excited about, Julia says, people will support you if you try a small business. What we are actually doing, part of what we're doing is as we form these local groups by state, we are going to map what non-corporate options we have. Well, that will also show us what gaps we have. I am hoping that we've got a group of 200, 300, 400 people per state that say, hey, I'm not able to start this food buying group, but if somebody does, I'd be a part of it. I'm not able to start this co-op, but if somebody does, I would buy from it. So now you've got people that are coming in that are already looking to build, that are already looking to make different options for people. And then you find out, oh shit, I've got 76 people already supporting me. So if I build this, I will have 76 customers built in to what I'm trying to create. Oh shit, I'm going to build this. And what's going to happen is as soon as people see that a system that works for us is going to be 1,000 times better than a system that works against us, people will just switch. And I stopped using it, but my good friend Ryan is bringing it back just because I forget. I have so many goddamn analogies. But what this is like, imagine trying to sell a car to someone while there were still only horses around, right? That person would be like, why do I need your horse? Or why do I need your car? Everything's good with my horses. I've got barns, the horses, the roads are set up for horses. Everything's set up for horses. Why would I change? Well, if you try to sit there and argue with them about horses, they'll be like, look, my daddy loved horses. My daddy's daddy loved horses. I love horses. I see horses every day. I can't even imagine this iron horse that you're talking to me about. So why are you trying to sell me this on this fantastical new idea? That's where that's where we're in now. We're telling people, hey, you don't need to be dominated by corporations. And they're like, what? I can't even imagine a world without corporations. I can't even imagine a world with cars. I've only ever known what it looks like to live in a world with horses, right? So that's why we can't just talk about this. Oh yeah, Ilaroma, I'll be free after this in 5 or 10 minutes. But we can't just talk about this because that is literally like telling people, hey, we built that car. You know what I mean? But they're like, what the fuck is a car? I ride horses. So if we can actually start building our version of that car and get it to see that it actually works. Oh, Peyton. Hey, Ryan, why don't you and Peyton be our Canadian friends up there? Eh? I think that's what we should do. Yeah, Peyton, there's actually another fantastic person in this chat, Ryan Martin, that I believe is also your fellow countryman. And we do have an international option for the Discord. So you can go ahead and choose international. We just need to go ahead and create a Canadian option because we love you all so much. So, but yeah, that is great, Ilaroma. I can either hop into your live for a minute or we can chat. So yeah, we got to use this upcoming No Kings to make sure that we form local groups. Those forming of local groups, because what are there to create non-corporate options. Because imagine if in your community you didn't have to shop at Walmart. You wouldn't. Right now, you probably do like 100% of your general store shopping at Walmart and Target. If you had Julia's general store to go to, I bet you that would flip. I bet you 80% of your shopping would be done at Julia's general store. So what did they do? These large companies operated at a loss for a long, long time to make sure to run Julia's general store out of business. Then, when there was no competition left, they didn't raise the prices because that would have made us all angry. They just kept the salaries low. They never raised the salaries, so they barely had to raise the prices. That's why we've got low prices and absolutely no competition. Fire at the disco. There aren't any benefits. We may have cheaper products and it may be more efficient, but we also are relying on corporations that don't care about us. So you can tell me any kind of benefit that you want, but it's like, say the mob owns your home because the mob promised to take care of you. Well, the mob might have brought you some benefits, but ultimately it's the mob that now controls your home. So as soon as you get out of the mob's goodwill, all of those benefits are going to go away. So fire at the disco, you mean benefits like health insurance companies letting us die so they can get a bigger bonus? Hey, fire at the disco, those benefits you mean? Like how they don't even really put food in our food and then tell us it's food because they don't care about us? Hey, fire at the disco, you mean all those benefits where everything is absolute shit now and there's no quality products because we don't have any options to go buy quality products? So without any options, we're forced to buy their stuff? That kind of stuff, right? No, it just is anybody that comes in and listens for less than 2 minutes and then has something to say. What's the saying? That's why you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. It's just, I don't care if you push back against us. I don't care if you argue. Just be here for longer than 100 seconds before you do it. Understand what I'm talking about. Understand my positions before you argue against them. That's what I don't understand. Why would you argue against me if you didn't know what I was doing? Anyway, I appreciate you all so much. We all have so much fun together. Now let's fucking build some real change. I'm sick of asking for change. We are demanding it. Fire at the disco. Why don't you come on up? We can chat sometime. But I doubt that you're real because there would not be many synapses firing for that to be your take. Appreciate y'all. Come join the Discord. Bye. Are you home? Question mark. Yo, what's good, man? Oh, just another lovely day screaming at the corporations.
You stay on top of it, bro. I really appreciate you.
I mean, I got lucky. I got to live the American dream. I was able to start my own business, so I got time, and I got 2 little daughters, so I'm not letting them live in this shit. You know what I mean? Or at least if I have to, I'm going to tell them in a decade or 2 that I did everything I could, and yeah, that's all it comes down to.
So the reason I wanted to try and get a chance to talk to you because there's a lot of stuff on my mind recently that pertains to it all ties back to the